Yeah, welcome to Wavu.com this afternoon. This is a platform where we bring real people from our communities, people who are touching the lives of young people. And today we are going to have a conversation with one of the community leaders. And it is my pleasure to have him introduce himself so that we can start this session. Welcome to our studio this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Ken. My elder brother actually is in the line of mentorship. And personally, I'm David Gayo. I am a coach. And currently, I am a mentor coach working with the Sports Outreach Program Kenya and serving the Mukuru as a community at large. I have a soccer team in Mukuru Kwa Njenga. It's called Swift, which is currently under coaches that I have been mentoring for several years. I've also been supporting the CFK program as an organization in Mukuru Kwa Njenga in running out sports activities for young people, ideally the adolescent, and it has been very impactful. I've also been supporting AMREF Kenya in also implementing Sports for Health project, which was targeting also the adolescent, and several other community engagement that actually aim at a positive upbringing of the children in Mukuru Kwa Njenga and empowering them through sports at large, not necessarily football, but ideally any sport that is workable in the area we've been implementing, depending on the organizations that are coming in to support us.
Welcome to this platform, my brother. Feel welcome. And it is my pleasure to host you today at thewafu.com as we dig deep into the work that you do in your community, or the many challenges that you have been able to tackle. Maybe to start us off, who are you or what were you doing before you ventured into coaching?
I was a professional footballer, by the way. And generally my life has been entirely on coaching. I embraced coaching earlier, immediately in 2012. I embraced coaching. And I've been running through, even in my university and in my college education, I've been running through the coaching. Up to date, I'm still coaching. I have started a coach mentorship program that aims at mentoring also other coaches and also other teams.
Good. Could you just describe for us a normal day of a player or an athlete or within the Mukuru Kwa Njenga setup? What is it like for a life of a young athlete within Mukuru?
Yeah, it is how do I describe it? Not really strange, but it is not as we all envision and we all hear about a player in Mukuru slum, because Mukuru is just a slum like Kibra. I think after the several development activities in Kibra, we are almost being the largest slum now. And with the high population comes also with the high cost of living and the high demand for education. And the entire Mukuru currently we are blessed to have 5 public schools, which is supposed to cover a population of over 200,000 children in the area. And each school covers at most 2,000. And now we have the introduction of JSS, so which require another extra enrollment of 1,000. But when you compare the figures that the school are covering and the population we have, it will never match. So that means there is high demand for education, especially from the public sector. And with the high demand and the less resources, most of the children will venture into the private schools, which are also costly in a way. So we have a large number of students that are not going to school, or rather young athletes that are not going to school. With the ongoing activities in the area like demolition, privatization of public resources, so we currently don't have a public hall, like you can say. And now we can go in a public hall and do these and these activities if it is indoor, or maybe a public field that we can say that these children we know that they have gone for games in that specific field. So there are no specific public fields that the community can easily access, apart from the few schools that have, actually there's only one field that is school-based that is accessible, which is Kwa Njenga Primary School. And I think from today it will not be accessible because also the school has its own plan to make sure that the land is also privatized for the school. So with that many challenges in the area, our athletes are really in a life that we don't envision them to have access to the basic education easily, access to the sporting facilities also, because they are also scarce, and that pushes them into drugs and laxity, which is common in the area. So we have so many the areas that youth are set aside as a safe space, which are mostly drug oriented, and find that majorly they'll be in that space because they have a comfort of using a particular drug.
You've talked about infrastructure challenges where young people are struggling to get where they can even expose their talents. You've also mentioned about drug abuse, and that again takes me to the next question. Apart from the parental kind of or challenges that you are experiencing, or together with other coaches within Mukuru, as well as issues around drugs, what are these teething social challenges that you will also talk about that these young people, these young athletes even face before they even step into the field of play?
I'll look at socially we have organizations that are coming in to try and mentor these young kids, and there are several activities that we try to bring in place to see that the positive upbringing of this child is also looked at in a way that he can be presentable before other people, he can be able to interact with other people freely, and he can also be able to have a vision like any other normal kid. So ours is just a call to other organizations to come in and support the children in Mukuru slum in terms of having activities that are based on these kids, so that socially we can see them come up together, able to interact with other people, and have the moral upbringings that we are targeting. We have several community-based organizations. I'll mention like one. We have Amusha. Amusha is a community-based organization that has been using waste collection as a way of bringing the youth together. So a simple activity like garbage collection brings them together, because maybe one way or another they can get a few cents to do an initiative. And before the demolition, it was doing very well. So they started even doing recycling of the garbage and a lot of things, and then all of a sudden it vanished. And we have an organization like Sports Outreach that is coming in with a community feeding program just to try and address the need for basic food to a normal kid in Mukuru slum. So it is a small pinch in the pocket, but it is doing a lot in terms of the life of these children in the community. When we have a tournament organized by the Carolina for Kibera Africa, is a way of trying to bring these youths together and try to allow them talk to one another in terms of the issues they're having, of which currently we are introducing CFK has introduced mentors to come and support these young kids. It's more of allowing the community own up activities that are brought in the area and try to empower themselves through the little that is brought. It may not necessarily need financial chipping in. Tuseme sasa kama CFK watumika kitu hatutaifanya. We go an extra mile to make sure that whatever is able to be done, we can be able to do it on our own. Whatever is brought on board to empower the kids is really narrowed down to make sure that the kid is benefiting. So generally we rely on you people in terms of supporting these young kids, and ours is a honest assurance that whatever this kid is supposed to get, we are going to mentor them, bring the church together to also to see them they are growing together holistically. Because when you look at only sport, there are a lot that is missing. There is the spiritual aspect that is also missing, and you find that we have also the Muslim players. They have a specific day to make sure they worship. So we try to make sure that our sporting activities are not centered on only coming together and playing and going, but are rather focus on positive upbringing of the child, mental well-being, and also the physical well-being of the child. So we need to positively look at how we are going to mentor these young kids. Yeah.
Generally, and again, a testament to what we alluded for earlier on when we were introducing ourselves, we did mention that it is just more than coaching. With the challenges that you've mentioned, how do these challenges affect performance of these young athletes, either as they shape up their talents or even when they go to school? What will you say? How does all these challenges that these young people face or affect their performance?
First, in terms of sports, it is really affected. When you check at the last FKF selection, the national team, I think it's under FKF. When you check at the selected team, it was basically Ligi Ndogo, Sakata, the big organization. We didn't have a specific team from Kibera or Mukuru that had a player in the national team. Go back last year, the same FKF under 15 that traveled to Uganda. Makadara produced one girl that traveled with the national team, girls under 15. So it poses a question on the sports we are developing in the slum. So that means that the growth that we have, it is not really sprouting nowadays to the national team.
Yes.
Initially, we used to have so many of our kids going to the national team, but currently there is less. Look at the academic results last year, although nowadays is not really portrayed. But we have the schools we have in the slum, their performance is really also demeaning in terms of also the challenges we are going through generally in the slum.
Wow. Have you, in your entire life of coaching, have you ever almost lost a talent that was so dear to you because of these challenges that you're facing? Is there a situation where a player that you've interacted with, or just a player from Mukuru, or has kind of maybe said, enough is enough, because of these challenges I cannot continue with my talent?
Yes, many of them. I'll give an example of two. I had a kid in my team with a medical condition, and the parent they were not concerned. Waenda kiwanja, the only confirmation they made, alikuja mmekuwa na yeye, and then that's all. So this kid had a medical condition and he had a cancer of the blood, but before we realized that was the problem, it was only a few days and then he passed away. It was a very painful, because if parents could be following up with the issues affecting their kids, we could have gotten earlier medical attention. The kid was barely 13. Last year we lost one youth. He also participated in the other tournament that CFK hosted, the under 21. And last year, December, we lost him because of drugs. And actually, drugs will propel you to go and itakwambianaje huyu jamaa anaweza mfinya. So in the course of trying to steal from people, mob justice. And there are so many other cases that we have lost them.